Prop 39 basically, as we see it, is a quality seat for every public school student. The law was passed by the voters in 2000, which basically requires school districts to provide reasonably equivalent space for public school students, regardless of the choice. This is for charter school students in traditional public school space. And so the way we see it is ensuring that every child has a quality seat.
It was really about letting people know that, were they meaningfully interested in attending the school. And once we collected those 150 signatures, we were able to proceed with the application to LAUSD to ask for space. Soon after we were told that we would be at LA High School, then came a lot of the relationship building.
Really what we're doing is providing information to communities that are going to be in some way benefiting or impacting, depending on your opinion, by co-location.
The community had a lot of questions in the beginning, as they should. They need to know what's happening, and again, transparency was very important to let them know what was happening.
To figure out where we're going to place students, it's a very deliberative process, a very thoughtful process, and one that we've had a lot of effort to make sure is as fair as possible for all students. And that includes looking at, first and foremost, the application of each charter school, what their needs are, where they want to be located, the number of students, and then we look at the space in that area to accommodate the charter school. There are a lot of ins and outs as part of that process, but we look at the actual data for each and every school to make sure that we have a reasonably equivalent offer for every single charter school that applies.
When LAUSD was opening brand new school facilities, and through public school choice, different teams from the community, teachers, administrators, parents, and community members could submit proposals to LA Unified to operate either part of a campus or an entire campus. And so again, and with the intent of our mission of wanting to share, and us being former district teachers ourselves, we've always wanted to come back and collaborate with our colleagues.
When I was hired as the principal to come into the school and to open the school, I was fully aware that we were going to have a charter school on the campus.
What we decided to do in terms of facilities was to intentionally work with LA Unified and actually move on to campuses with LAUSD schools so that we can collaborate and not just be on the campus physically, but to actually work together. For example, our principals have regular meetings together. We have staff meetings together every so often, and our goal would be to integrate that even greater than what we've been able to do in a few short years.
I think one of the challenges with co-location is how do you establish individual culture among two schools sharing a campus? So neither is right, neither is wrong, but every school has a vision, every school has a culture that they're trying to cultivate. And how does that happen?
Issues around space usage in terms of the allotted time and also the amount of space that's available for both schools.
The bell schedule. So initially, you write down what you want in the schedule, and then you have to work with other people to see how things are going to span out.
Co-location challenges include custodial issues, because when you share a campus and one school has one set of custodians and one school has another set of custodians, there can sometimes be a little bit of whose job is it to clean this shared space.
Co-location challenges include misunderstandings about what charter schools are. Co-location challenges are also because of the lack of understanding of what Proposition 39.
Misunderstandings by parents, misunderstandings by faculty members, maybe conflicts between students.
You have concerns about safety, you have concerns about traffic. Some of those may be based on the actual data. Some of those may be based on just a discomfort, which is real.
The way the room is set up, or moving furniture around so that certain safety features are taken care of.
Whenever you share, I think just like in life, not just because there's schools, there's definitely both really exciting things that can happen and really challenging things as well. I think It's not just because it's a charter school sharing with a traditional district school. It's just different people with different ways of communicating and leading and organizing things that can sometimes clash and other times work towards your strengths.
If there's a negative perspective about where you are, then that's going to be a part of everyone else's perspective. So the leaders should lead in mindset, they should lead in relationship, and they should lead in terms of communication.
Essential ingredients for a great co-location begin with leadership. Absolutely. And this is coming directly from our experience talking with where it's successful. The school leaders that I ask, whether they're a district principal or a charter school principal, they start with, it starts at the top, we work it out on behalf of youth. And so that includes ongoing communication. They make time in their schedule on a usually very weekly basis, daily basis, whatever makes sense, to talk through any issue that comes up proactively as well as reactively when necessary.
When it comes to communication, we actually do it all the time. Well, sometimes we do a morning flag salute in the morning, and then usually after that, he and I a little chit chat and do a little powwow afterwards. We go into each other's offices all the time whenever we need anything, emailing back and forth.
In the very beginning, it was very important for both the LA High School administrators and for us to make sure that we stayed consistent with meeting twice a month. So those meetings occur no matter what.
We created a campus council where we would have their teachers and our teachers come together and then discuss issues, ways to resolve maybe problems, or how to improve things.
Co-location challenges can be addressed by bringing more resources to our schools, providing more support to our principals, informing community on a timely basis.
Breaking down, I think, misperceptions and that people may have of each other of what exactly is a charter school. And for some charter school staff, not everybody's worked in a district school before, so being able to break down any stereotypes people may have or misinformation about what the different school models are like.
Big opportunities that I have encountered is the ability to exchange ideas and sort of be a thought partner between the co-located school, where our charter partner, and our school.
The very beginning, the very first year, we did a get to know you kind of PD, that kind of stuff. That was the very first year. It's been challenging the last couple years because we don't have the same curriculum and we don't have the same things. But this year we were able to do like professional developments together.
I just wanted to make sure that it was, whatever I stated, it was about either it's going to be specifically about our school or about both schools together, but not creating any type of verbiage that would be about separating both schools.
We've done triage training together as, two different sites. We set up like a common first aid station for both schools, things of that nature.
Usually when parents come onto the campus, if they don't know our campus, we have both Quincy Jones and Synergy staff in that main office.
I know the schools share in costs as well, so like we'll all rent a big stage and tables and chairs for all the families to be able to participate in all 3 graduations.
We have a lot of siblings that their siblings that attend Crenshaw High School, also the middle school. Also, we have people who work at the high school who send their children to our middle school. So we're able to build a community. When we have events, I invite the principal and other people to sit in as judges, or I will invite them to speak at my parent meetings.
I think if I had one piece of advice for someone who is going into a co-location is try to remember to have empathy, both sides really. It's an awkward situation to be the homeschool and to have someone coming in, and we need to empathize with that and really know that that's a big challenge for a school that's been existing on their own.
Setting is to really communicate, keep those lines open, learn to be flexible, and have fun. It should be an opportunity for us to learn and grow.
Communication, not for the sake of just saying we met, but communication for the sake of being upfront and honest about what issues you're experiencing, they're experiencing, being on your campus, and then have honest dialogue about how you all can work together to resolve it.
Is to actually embrace it as a positive tool and resource.
We all remember when we were growing up going to school. and what those memories are like. So I would highlight that, walk in those children's shoes. And I think when we do that, the other issues, I'm not saying they go away, but they can help us get to the solutions.
Know that, particularly if it's a first-time co-location for a host site, that it's going to be challenging for them to recognize that space isn't theirs. So being thoughtful, being proactive about setting meetings, and as much as you can, being transparent about what your needs are and how having certain space would meet your needs, and welcoming that transparency from them.
Think of this in terms of you being the parent of that child going into either school. What do you want? Don't you want them to get the best education? And how will that happen if you have two schools on the same campus?
Get to know the leadership team at the school, not just with your demands or what your expectations are, but really invest in the relationship.
What I like about where we are right now with our co-location is that we're finally moving from meeting about simply operations and bell schedules and conflicts to how can we collaborate instructionally. So for example, if we have a student in the 10th grade that needs to take a 12th grade type class like AP Calculus, we're starting to brainstorm how can that happen where our kids could passport and take a class there.
Our after-school program coordinator actually interfaces with the Logan after-school program coordinator, and we've had a lot of like sports championship games and different things that have happened, which we really couldn't do without Logan's participation.
This year, Steve got us involved in a pilot program for the Smarter Balance test. It's actually a pre-test to that. It's a formative test, and he was able to get us on board as the only charter school that was in the pilot.
Some of the really positive opportunities I've encountered through co-location are that our students are able to participate in a lot of after-school activities, particularly sports, that we could never fund or have the space to do if we had a traditional charter school facility.
Gabriella Charter School has 2 dance studios, which is exclusive space for the school during the school day, but after school it's open to our community dance program called Everybody Dance, which is our sister organization. So you will see Logan, GCS, and other community students dancing side by side in our after school program.
The next level of conversation where some schools have achieved with one another, but we would like to have more do so, is with educational impact. How can both school communities, as much as appropriate, share ideas of what works for children?
We get to learn, again, some of their best practices academically. So Synergy is a strong academic school, and you could see what is working well.
Everybody, I think, is hungry for ideas that can work, regardless of what type of school you have. And so I would love, and we are going to be focusing on ways that we can share those promising practices across all types of schools, not just charter schools and district schools, but regardless of the governance model, so that everybody can have an opportunity to access great ideas from a diversity of voices.
I'm looking forward to the day when co-locations can be embraced as a positive way to really share and be able to see each other and say, wow, look, we are serving the same community, we are serving the same kids, and I love what you're doing. Can I learn from you? You know, and let's learn from that, because we definitely have learned from our district partners on a number of different ways on how they implement things.
It would be great if we could develop relationships whereby, teachers and leaders from both schools could visit and sort of see and observe best practices and disseminate those best practices throughout. I know Logan, I've heard that they do a couple really great things with their middle schoolers that we would like to see.
It can be successful, and when it is successful, it's great. So, but it starts with the leadership.
My attitude about co-location is that there's endless possibilities for growth, both for the charter school and the traditional school. If we work collaboratively on this process, we can do some really great things for the kids in LA.